Hello!
Hi again, everybody. Welcome to another spooky edition of Ash and Des Remember. I'm Des O'Gorman, joined as always by my co-host with the co-most.
Hello, I'm Ash Price.
Way to ruin the illusion.
Yeah,
well done.
I mean, you could have introduced yourself as Deso Ghoulman, but you didn't.
Damn it!
You didn't.
I could. Could we save that in the edit? Actually, no. It'd be too much time and hassle. No, it's okay.
It's fine. It's fine. No,
okay.
He's lost it out. He's lost it out now.
I lose a lot of things these days.
Yeah.
You know? We're here to talk about something very, very specific. One that's kind of broad and out there, but I think may connect and resonate with some people. Ash, do you remember your first experience of horror? I don't know why I put the emphasis.
Oh God,
on the
yeah. It was terrifying. I woke up and there was like everything was wet, and I was like 4, and like it was horrifying.
You had a bath, didn't you?
Yeah.
Damn it.
Um.
I woke up and everything was wet and I was 4. That could have gone in a weird direction.
I know. I'm glad you took it in the bath direction.
Yeah, so am I.
So, Des, do you remember your earliest experience of horror then? What was your first experience that you can remember of horror?
My first experience of horror was something so specific that it still haunts me to this day. I remember peeking in at the television and spotting a very specific scene from Wes Craven's Nightmare on Elm Street, the original from 1984.
Oh God, yeah.
It was 1984, wasn't it?
I don't know actually.
Let's say the 80s.
Yeah.
And I remember that I remember this specifically, it was in a dream sequence, and I think Freddy had those really long arms and they were scraping along the wall. But the scene that I remember the most, thank you for the visual aid on that, the scene I remember the most is that his claw cut open what looked like a pimple or a boil, and it started to ooze like a viscous greeny substance. And when you're like 4, or I think it was either 4 or 6, it was something along those lines, that type of imagery always sticks with you. Always does.
You know, Nightmare on Elm Street
Yep.
is also my earliest
No.
memory of horror. I'm a little different.
Oh, okay.
When I was at primary school, so I think I was 10, and I was really super excited because I'd finally convinced my parents to let me watch an adult 18 plus movie, a horror film, and we had selected a Nightmare on Elm Street.
Wait a minute. Did you select it, or were they like, we'll select one for you. Here, have this one, our young child.
I don't know, but I like to imagine it's that they kind of sat there and went through all of their movies and went, well, there's Halloween, there's Nightmare on Elm Street. Oh, what should we actually show?
We've narrowed it down to the Evil Dead or Zombie Holocaust, and then like an uncle or something bursts things just go through. Wait, I have the perfect one.
Something without the tree molestation scene. You know, it's not suitable for children.
Oh yeah, because Nightmare on Elm Street is
so
like family friendly. That one, isn't it?
So that was it. I don't remember if I did actually watch it that weekend or not, or if they changed their mind, but that is my first memory related to horror.
Wow.
If we don't include Ghostbusters.
I don't know, because in a previous episode we talked about Ghostbusters and we spoke about how it's a mishmash of like different things, but like Nightmare on Elm Street is
horror.
It's pure horror, because it's designed to be horrible, and the whole thing of like, and I don't know why, but Freddy became like a cultural icon.
He became like a comedy character as things went on.
Yeah, you know, when he appears in a music video with Run DMC, you know, the child molester who was burnt alive. Let's stick him with Run DMC singing a video. Why the hell not?
The 80s and 90s, a more innocent time.
An innocent time where Rowan Atkinson could drive around on a Mini with the car, with the seat on top of the car, and an innocent time.
Yeah.
Innocent time.
That's the true horror. Poor road safety.
Yeah, let's go with that. Because I think when we were growing up in the late 80s, early 90s, there was a lot of like, I think what's called like kid horror or teen horror or those type of things.
Well, there's a lot of horror that was aimed at a younger audience.
Yeah.
Or a lot of things that incorporated horror tropes. And I never really got into Goosebumps. My brother did. I didn't.
I got it kind of like, I remember seeing like the intro a lot. And that music, the dun 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 dun, that theme, I remember that, but I don't remember any specific episode.
For me, it was Are You Afraid of the Dark? That's what I watched.
That was like another one of those things growing up. You were either like a Neighbours fan or a Home and Away fan. You were either a Goosebumps fan or Alone in the Dark.
Yeah. Yeah, Are You Afraid of the Dark was something I remember. I remember starting to sat around a campfire just talking, and they'd tell a ghost story around the campfire.
What I want to know is that what's the stuff they throw to the fire? At the beginning, this is the tale of that they throw something to the fire and the fire bursts up a little bit. What is that they throw in?
Crack.
Wow. Good God.
Yeah. Yes, a little known fact.
Yeah. That's a PSA episode. We didn't realize that.
It was the crack.
Yeah, that's why they were around, because they were burning crack and telling stories to get themselves clean. It was an important episode. It was a cultural milestone. Apparently that's coming back.
Is it?
Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, The Next Generation.
Oh, wow.
No, it actually is. It's coming back.
Campfires. The final frontier. These are the continuing voyages.
I mean, they already did the same for a show that I remember was very popular back in the day, The Demon Headmaster. They did new iterations of The Demon Headmaster.
Oh, God, they did, didn't they?
They did, yeah.
That show was so good.
At
the time, there was that, and the other show that was kind of like aimed towards a slightly older kid audience. Not quite teen, but slightly older kid audience. There was that, and it wasn't horror, but The Queen's Nose.
God, I remember The Queen's Nose, yeah.
Where you would rub the coin and you would have...
Of the old 50p pieces.
Okay, here's a guess for you. The lead actor who played the role of... was it Harmony? The young one in Queen's Nose?
Oh.
Has retired from acting.
Okay.
What is she doing now?
Good God, that's so very vague. Let's say she owns a pet store.
She's a trained psychologist, so close.
Oh, well, yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, that's okay. That's random.
Yeah,
that is very
random facts with Ash and Des.
If this ever comes up in a pub quiz, you always take a pint.
Florence Hoth, who was in the scary episode of Doctor Who, the Empty Child, played Nancy. She works in an estate agent's now, apparently.
Wow, who goes to show that if you work at the BBC, your career is either going to thrive or come to a grinding halt, one or the other.
Wow. But yeah, we were talking about
Demon
Headmaster,
which was a brilliant premise of a show and made us extremely terrified of headmasters and anybody wearing glasses.
When you're younger, you think hypnotism is going to be a much more bigger threat than it actually is.
You mean when you're hypnotized, like 90s CGI glowing ring effects don't appear around an eye?
When I was younger, I always thought that hypnotism and quicksand were going to be bigger problems than they actually are.
That's true, yeah. Quicksand, or for any Irish people listening to this, the biggest threat we had was leaving the immersion on too long. Because you do not want to, as soon as you're done with the immersion, you turn it off. You don't leave it on.
So yeah, Demon Headmaster was absolutely fantastic.
Demon Headmaster was good.
Danny John Jules was in there. Danny John Jules, the cat from Red Dwarf, was in there.
Of course
he was in there.
Yep.
He was a game show host, I think.
Again, of course he was. Why wouldn't he? You know.
But yeah, it was really, really good. Yeah. I really enjoyed it. It was a genuinely unnerving and unsettling show. But there was lots of stuff like that out around about the time.
Yeah. Another one was Around the Twist. Which was
I wouldn't know what to define that as.
I define that as like an anthology.
Have you ever felt like this? When strange things happen, are you going round the twist?
Going round the twist. Yeah. I just think of it as just like a weird anthology show, kind of like a Twilight Zone light.
Yeah.
To a degree, but more Australian. And focused on one family.
Yeah.
It's a subgenre. It doesn't really fit in anywhere, does it?
So those of you who can see the YouTube video, just behind us there are some DVD cases. There is The Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yep.
But there's also Count Duckula and Trapdoor.
Oh, again, I was saying this to yourself, Ash, before we started recording, was that I remember Count Duckula, I remember Trapdoor. I cannot recall a single episode that I watched. The main thing I remember was the intros.
That's the thing about kids' shows from that era. The intros were amazing.
So good.
Duckula was just dark and unsettling. Duckula. Yeah. Count Duckula.
That's pretty good.
It's time for fun facts again.
Hey!
Count Duckula actually first appeared as an antagonist, a villain, in Danger Mouse.
I knew you were going to say Danger Mouse. because it's that same
Yeah.
same animation
Cosgrove
style.
Hall, I think it was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it has, but now may possibly be voiced by David Jason.
Now I'm not sure who's voicing them because they have just come back. They got
Yeah,
relaunched.
they got Danger Mouse back on, and it's voiced by Alexander Armstrong, who was
Oh.
like part of Armstrong and Miller and the host of Pointless.
That was a not pointless fact.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, you see, random facts. That's why
Yeah.
people come and tune into this episode.
I remember about Duckula just being really, because he was like, he's a vegetarian. Like he's a vegetarian
He's a vegetarian vampire.
because he was resurrected using tomato ketchup rather than
Blood.
Yeah. So that made him vegetarian. That's
Or-
basically it. That's
or-
if you want a child to be a vegetarian, just mix a little bit of tomato ketchup in with your baby batter.
Oh, yeah. Baby batter. Oh, my God. What is wrong with you, man? I was going to say that Count Duckula was the first vegan. But then again, no. You've just... Baby batter? What's wrong with you? Oh, my God. Let's skip past this one. Let's move on to Trapdoor.
Trapdoor, yeah.
Trapdoor.
Okay, I have always been a huge fan of stop motion animation. Recently went to the Harryhausen exhibit, which again, if we're talking about childhood horror, Jason and the Argonauts.
Oh, God.
That scene
Yeah.
where Talos comes to life, the noise it makes when it's chasing after them is just one of my earliest, most terrifying moments.
Oh, God, yeah.
And from that moment on, I always loved stop motion, those and the Harpies. And so Trapdoor, being stop motion, was something that I just genuinely loved and really, really got into.
Was there something sweet and charming about stop motion animation?
Yeah.
You know, especially when you look at things like Trapdoor and like how Wallace and Gromit used to be before they started, promoting sofas. God, that's a reference that's going to date very quickly. There is something unique about stop motion animation, and when I think of Trapdoor, the two things I remember is the theme tune and the fact that it had really smooth, glorious stop motion animation.
It was absolutely fantastic. I remember watching it, and one of the earliest creative things I ever did, and I don't know if it was because of this or Wallace and Gromit, I think it was Trapdoor, but I did make a 2-second stop motion animation one Sunday featuring the character Cool Spot from the video game, and it was literally just him walking along a beach and falling over a shell.
Oh, see, that's a story in 2 seconds.
And it was Trapdoor was really good, and even now it's wonderful to watch. Only about 5 minutes per episode, so
I
they're
remember
really
that.
easy.
Yeah, they were really, really short episodes.
Yeah, they were the type of thing that just kind of went in between longer shows on the BBC
Yeah.
or ITV, whichever one it was. But yeah, Trapdoor was really, really good fun. I loved it. And there's lots of shows like that were kind of aimed at kids, aimed at a younger audience. Lots of even older stuff, like before we were born, like the Merry Melodies and Silly Symphonies and Disney's Skeleton Dance.
Yeah.
Absolutely wonderful. For those of you watching, again, we would include a little scene of that, but we ain't getting sued by Disney.
No.
Those of you listening, you're all good.
You're welcome. Yeah, Google it afterwards.
Yeah.
You remember other shows like the Tomorrow People and
No.
Rent a Ghost?
For
certain people, for certain generations, that's the thing that they are going to remember.
So there was a children's educational show, and this was one because there was 3 blocks of children's television. That was very early in the morning, which was mainly cartoons.
Which you things like the school bus and playground.
No. I mean earlier than that. It's usually just cartoons as you're getting ready for school. Then the evenings was the main cartoon stuff. Then around 10, 11 o'clock, you would have that.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking.
And other educational stuff. And the one I remember is Dark Towers. Do you remember Dark Towers?
I don't remember Dark Towers.
It had the most eerie and unsettling introduction. It was a ghost tale set in Dark Towers. It was really creepy and unnerving and was one of my earliest experiences outside of, probably even before actually Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
It was probably Dark Towers.
Dark Towers, that's a new one for me. Because if I remember those blocks, I remember things like Ghostwriter.
Yeah, I remember Ghostwriter.
You remember Ghostwriter? I'm trying to remember. That Tower block, that's not Tower.
Dark Towers.
Dark Towers, that's
Dark
a new one
Towers.
for me. Was it live action? Was it animated?
It was live action, yeah.
action.
And if I remember properly, there were kind of ghosts and stuff in it. It was basically just a horror education thing.
Yeah.
Sort of like Through the Dragon's Eye. That wasn't horror, but it was kind of fantasy and it was a little bit ghoulish.
I do remember shows like Nightmare.
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 Oh, so
they need to bring back Nightmare.
they've been doing live shows of that, like
Yeah.
Fringe and places like that. You could go along and take part in a live action
Yeah.
Nightmare. That was so ahead of its time. That was an interactive 3D thing.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't realize, I guess the helmet the kid had on
was
just
to
like-
hide the green screen.
was to hide the green screen. But it was, really early use of kind of green screen stuff. And we should maybe do our own version of Nightmare. We should. Like, we've got the green screen, we've got the setup. Let's do it. Ash and Des do Nightmare.
Who?
That sound odd.
No, Ash and Des creates nightmares. No,
That's not even-
that's not better. No,
But
we'll just call it ooh
do you know what-
nasty.
do you remember what the scariest thing about that
on.
was actually the face that told you how much energy
Oh
the
my
player
god!
had?
Chunks of it was falling off,
Yeah.
and then you'd lose an eye, and ugh, that is.
It was like Doom, but it was for a kids show.
Yes.
Yeah, I do remember that, and it was so good, so good. And if you're out there, what was the guy's name? Tragar.
Yeah.
Tragar.
Tragar.
If you're out there, we love you.
We love you.
I want to stroke your beard.
Why'd you make it weird?
Why not?
Stop making things weird.
Why?
You could have just said that we like you. He does things like, I was gonna say he does TikToks, but he does like
Cameo.
Yes, fan requests and things.
Oh, okay.
And he still does the ooh nasty.
Oh, yes. We're gonna do that.
Yes.
we're gonna do that. Yes.
And by we, you mean you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
is there any like specific horror thing, not just like kids horror, but like a specific horror thing that you remember?
So one time I was ill, and I'd been in the hospital. I'd been for an operation, and it left me quite incapacitated for a while. When I'd been ill or really sick, my mum would always take me to Toys R Us because it was a magical place. We're almost there, and it's now closed. Boo! But we went there, and we got
What'd you get?
Atmosphere, which some of you may remember during the Edinburgh Fringe. Me and Des and our friend Miss Twist did a live playthrough of that.
That's right.
I-
Twist kept flirting with the dungeon
With
master.
the Dungeon Master, yeah. And it was, again, these are things that felt so far ahead of their time.
Yeah.
It was like you could put a VHS in and have someone there playing against you, kind
Yeah.
of.
It's like the
And
people against your own television.
It's really good fun. We played it recently, and it is actually really good.
Yeah.
It's really good. And it's horror, and it's scary, and it's fun.
Yep.
And then they kind of re-released it again on DVD.
Oh, I see,
and
that's
they
not the
redid
same.
everything. It looks...
Too slick.
It looks... No, it doesn't look too slick. It looks too kind of fake. Like, the previous one was just a guy with a black background and really simple. And they've kind of tried to do too much with it.
No.
And then the ultimate sin. You can get the board game now, no video, no disc.
What?
It's an app. You do it via an app. Not everything has to be an app, people.
Oh, come on. It loses the appeal when you have a voice or something on your television screen to your phone screaming at you. It's not the same.
Just put a QR code and link to a private
Oh,
or
go
unlisted
away.
video.
Go
Just
away.
do that.
No.
Stop. Don't do that. There is not an
No.
app for that. There shouldn't be.
There
But
shouldn't.
yeah, Atmosphere was great. And I remember I was playing it.
Well, that's fortunate that you have that down there.
Yeah, and it came like on VHS, and you get all these little nightmare cards that you have to write your own fears
Yeah.
on, and you collect keys, and
Look
it's
at this. I mean, look at this. I have never seen a bluish purple VHS because they're always black or grey. Look at this.
yeah, it is
Beautiful.
gorgeous, and it was called Nightmare in the States. Can you hear that?
That's history, people. Listen to that. That's
Yeah.
history.
Look, you can hear me opening up the cassette.
Go on.
Look at that.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Listen to that. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's really good fun, and on the back obviously it's all the stuff about how to play. You know, should your Atmosphere video cassette be faulty, it should be returned for replacement within 28 days of purchase to Rank Video Services. I wonder if they still exist.
I bet you the building is still there, but nobody knows.
It's a Sports Direct now.
Or Witherspoons.
Oh, Weatherspoons. No, it's a Sports Direct in a Weatherspoons.
Oh, God.
Oh,
Ugh.
that's the next generation of things, isn't it? Sports Direct.
That's
in a
when you
Weatherspoons.
really go back in time because
That's-
they'll show nothing but, I don't know, old versions of the Carry On movies or something back in the day to really hammer home.
Carry On Screaming's a really good movie. It's really good fun. Frying tonight. And Dan the Toilet Man.
It's the simple things that keep you going, Ash,
It
isn't
really
it?
is.
For me, the film that kind of sticks out for me horror-wise, not Nightmare on Elm Street, but the one that I kind of both got into and terrified me all at the same time was Arachnophobia. Mm-hmm. And that, have you seen Arachnophobia? No?
I'm not scared of spiders. The film just never really appealed to me.
Oh, you should check it out just for not Jeff Bridges. Oh my God, he works with Jim. He worked with Jim Carrey in Dumb and Dumber.
Oh, Jeff.
Yes, Jeff.
Jeff's, I don't, Daniels?
Yes, it is. It's Jeff Daniels. Yeah, let's go with yes. It's Jeff Daniels, and it has John Goodman being his John Goodmanist from the 90s when he was still finding this thing. It's a really good movie, but the effect, it's all about spiders, and if you have anything kind of like Arachnophobia,
Difficult to watch.
it's a very hard watch.
See, I think with films, I think there's something that only happens around Halloween. There is a difference between a Halloween film and a horror film. Not all Halloween films have to be scary.
Well, you have one here, Hocus Pocus.
Hocus Pocus, that is one of my favourite films.
Because it's so good.
It's just so much fun. Yeah. And so on the night of mine and my wife's wedding, after we'd done the usual wedding stuff, which was, admin for the horror festival,
wow.
we then watched the Hocus Pocus Halloween spectacular, which was kind of...
The one that's on Disney that got the original actors back?
Is it back on Disney Plus now?
I think it might. Well, it might be coming out this year. Who knows?
I thought the Hocus Pocus 2 is coming out next year, but I thought the Halloween spectacular, I think, only went out on that one occasion.
Are you specifically saying Halloween wrong there?
No, that's what it's called. Halloween Spectacular.
Halloween.
Yeah, Hulu.
Oh, Hulu-wee, because it was on Hulu. Of course.
And it was really good. It brought back a lot of the old actors, and it was all done over Zoom and green screens and all sorts of stuff.
See, I didn't know that.
And Max is in his 40s and still a virgin.
That poor guy.
And Glenn Close has got a cameo, and Martin Sheen has got a cameo, and Martin Sheen. And Elvira hosts it, and
of course.
There's a fourth Sanderson sister who is a drag queen,
of course.
It's amazing. And if you missed it, you miss out on something amazing, and it really conjured up the fuzzy, happy feels that Hocus Pocus as a movie brings up.
See, Halloween, everybody instantly thinks that Halloween is all about slasher horror and gore and guts. That's why we said in like previous episodes, watch things like Ghostbusters, watch Hocus Pocus, watch
A Nightmare Before Christmas. Des, big question.
Yep.
Nightmare Before Christmas. Christmas film, Halloween film.
It's a Tim Burton film, so I don't care.
Okay.
I've said this many times, I'm not a Tim Burton fan. I've seen the film, I think like last year. I'd never seen it before then, and I watched it and thought, oh, that's really good. And I've never thought about it since.
I really love it. Watched it again the other night. Got a great voice cast. And
oh, God. Yeah. And who does the singing voice?
Danny Elfman.
Danny Elfman does the singing
voice. Was originally
voice?
going to do the actual dialogue voice as well, but was apparently quite shit.
Oh.
So it got replaced
but
with...
singing voice, excellent.
Yeah, brilliant.
Excellent singing voice.
And also, the I forget the name of the female ragdoll. I literally watched a film 2 nights ago. Sally.
I know.
Sally is voiced by the actor who played the mother in Home Alone and Beetlejuice.
Oh, Catherine
O'Hare. Catherine O'Hare.
Yes.
For modern fans, she was obviously
the mother in Schitt's Creek.
Schitt's Creek, yeah.
Yeah, which is a brilliant show, but we're getting off topic here. All right, we let's wrap this up.
Okay.
I want to ask you, what is your definitive, if you were to recommend anything for our listeners and our viewers for something that sums up Halloween, what would you recommend?
Ooh.
It doesn't have to be, it could be something horror-based, could be something, fun horror-based, could be anything. Even like a specific episode of something, what would you recommend?
I actually think Hocus Pocus. Hocus Pocus is the perfect Halloween movie.
Nice.
That, closely followed by the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Wow, you're going from both ends of the extreme.
Watch those back to back.
Yeah.
Are they both ends of the extreme? Or are they just variations on a theme?
Touché.
Watch Hocus Pocus followed by the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Des, what about you?
That's a good one actually. Yeah. I never would have thought of Hocus Pocus, but now the more that I think about it, I remember every time I watched it growing up, I just thought, God, this is just a good, fun movie. And
it's fun.
And
it's
it
fun.
felt weird seeing a Disney movie where they say the word virgin a lot.
And also for a lot of people,
yep.
Sarah Sanderson, one of their first crushes.
I could see that. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
When I was about 10 years old, I was like, I have strange feelings when I watch this film, and I don't know why.
Oh,
Yeah.
you poor little dingaling.
Did we have to go there?
Yes, we did. You made it weird, so I'm going to make it weird.
All right. Okay.
And I do remember that Doug Jones is the corpse.
He came back for the Halloween spectacular.
And when his mouth is open, I just remember, wench, you trollop,
Yes.
you buck-toothed heartless firefly from hell. I've always wanted to say that. Say what you want, just don't breathe on me. I always remember that one, and I don't know why. So yeah, I'm going to join you. Watch Hocus Pocus, and then after that, watch Ghost Watch. Watch Ghost Watch. Watch
yes.
Ghost Watch. It's this brilliant thing. It's like the most 90s thing ever because it has Craig Charles when he's not
Sarah
Lister.
Green hosting it.
Yeah, it's an extremely British thing. And if once you're done with that, immediately followed up with the horror episode of Inside Number 9. Because our mutual friend Ross told me about it, and I kind of got into it, and they did like this brilliant horror episode, which was kind of like a homage to Ghost Watch as well. Give that a watch. But myself and Ash both agree, watch Hocus Pocus.
Watch Hocus Pocus.
Watch Hocus Pocus, and then give out some sweets, or if you really want to go native, some candy to some people going by.
And don't forget to run amok, 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 amok. It's a reference to the film, Des.
It's been a while since I've seen it, so I'm gonna actually. Could you give that to me again, and then I'll do a reaction? Okay.
And don't forget to run amok, 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 amok.
I get that reference now. No. Okay. All right. I think we'll wrap this up because we've got to make Halloween costumes.
We have,
yes.
yes.
We do. Yes.
Proton pack out of a backpack and curling tongs.
You made a reference that some people might or might not get, and for those of you that do get it, thank you for being with us. And for those of you that don't get it, watch our previous episodes. Listen to them. We've got so many. Come on.
We are out on YouTube and on podcast audio version, so
That's
check us out.
Yep.
If you go to ashanddes.co.uk, all the links will be in there.
And tell us what your favourite Halloween horror movie or TV show or snippet. I tell you what, make it more random. What's your favourite Treehouse of Horror episode from The Simpsons? Let's throw that one out there, see what we get back. But more than anything else, we hope you all have a wonderful Halloween ahead of you. Don't eat too much. Do have nightmares. I was going to end that on that one. Yeah.
Do have nightmares.
Do have nightmares.
Do have nightmares.
Yeah.
Keep it geeky.
Bye for now.
Bye for now.